Deploying thousands of soldiers to help police and the IEC safeguard today's local elections. Around 300 voting stations around the country identified as hotspots, according to the Police Minister, Bheki Cele. Let's speak to security expert David Bruce. David, currently working with the United Nations Development Programme in support of the IEC and the election. David, hello to you. Huge pleasure to have you on eNCA. So do you think this is an increase of security because of what we saw back in July, or do you think this is run-of-the-mill security for a local government election?
Right. No, I think the straightforward answer to that is that in the past we've usually had the police deployed to support the holding of the election, but the deployment of troops is not routine during elections, and so, as you just said, I think possibly related to the events in July and, the anxiety that something unanticipated might happen. I think there was this, has been this additional deployment.
When we talk about who is in charge on the day, is it the SAPS? Is it SANDF? Who's taking orders from who if there were to be trouble? What's your understanding of how that interaction would play out?
Well, no, the way it's supposed to work is that the SANDF is very much there in support of the SAPS, insofar as there is any particularly difficult situation that any security forces are supposed to deal with. It would really be the responsibility of the SAPS to provide direction and leadership in that situation. But I don't really think that anything significant is really anticipated. My understanding is that there is the possibility of some type of protests against, the election, but I don't think that there's any real violence expected. Usually in the past, on the election day itself, the election has proceeded without any real disruption, and I would anticipate that something along these lines should be expected today.
Let's talk about rules of engagement for a moment, Bruce, if we could. Beg your pardon, David. Let's talk about the rules of engagement. So let's say, we'll use your example, there could be one or two smaller protests. At what point can and should the SAPS get involved? Where are those guidelines on when they should step in and when they should let people peacefully protest and demonstrate? What's your opinion?
Well, you see, I mean, insofar as people are peacefully protesting, there shouldn't really be any need to intervene. It's, the one ground for concern would be if a protest is preventing people from voting. And so I think then would be an issue for members of the police, but the premium would be on negotiating with the people and, finding some way in which, the protesters could continue to perhaps express themselves without interfering with the voting process. So I think what the Minister of Police was saying yesterday was that, it was the responsibility of the police to enable people to vote. And so I would hope that, insofar as there is any problem of any kind, the police will try to deal with it non-violently.
Well, obviously, that's our expectation as well. Always a pleasure to have you with us, security expert David Bruce. We'll speak to him again later in the week as far as security is concerned, currently working with the UN Development Programme in support of the IEC and today's election. Obviously, we all hope, don't we, Toombs, that no problems at all taking place today, but it seems police do have a handle on it, but we'll keep a close eye on that.